IVF and Surrogacy in World Religions by Sophia Rodriguez. Our first slide is Judaism. In Judaism, having children is considered very important, so many Jewish teachings support using medical technology like IVF to help with infertility. IVF is generally allowed, especially if it uses the married couple's own genetic material. However, surrogacy is more debated because of questions about who the real mother is, the woman who gives birth, or the genetic mother. Different branches of Judaism, like Orthodox and Reform, may have slightly different views, but overall there is an openness to IVF with ethical limits, and surrogacy is usually looked down upon. Our next slide is Mormonism. Mormonism, also known as the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, is very open to IVF, but only between a married husband and wife using their own sperm and egg. That's because family is extremely important and having children is seen as a part of God's plan. That being said, surrogacy is usually discouraged because it can complicate family roles and relationships. The church emphasizes that decisions like this should be made prayerfully and carefully. Our next slide is Islam. In Islam, preserving clear family lineage is very important. That being said, IVF is allowed, but only if it involves a married couple using their own reproductive materials. That being said, the sperm must come from the husband and the egg must come from the wife and be implanted in the wife's uterus. Moreover, any third-party involvement like donor sperm, donor eggs, or surrogacy is not allowed because it is seen as interfering with lineage and marriage boundaries. It is also considered haram or bad in Islam, particularly within Sunni teachings, which hold that surrogacy violates the sanctity of marriage and family structure by involving a third party in the concept of this process. Our next slide is Hinduism. Hinduism places a strong emphasis on having children and continuing the family line. Because of this, IVF is generally accepted as a way to help couples conceive. Surrogacy has also been accepted in some areas and cases, especially in modern India, though ethical concerns have become more discussed recently. Hindu views can vary since it's a diverse religion, but overall there's a flexibility within reproductive technologies and surrogacy. Next, we have Buddhism. Buddhism focuses on reducing suffering and acting with good intentions. Because of this, IVF is generally acceptable if it helps people have children without causing harm. However, some people think that the disposal of embryos in the IVF process is avoiding harm or against ahimsa or non-harm, but most people find creating a family to justify this process. Buddhists also believe that IVF offers a way to alleviate the suffering as it is their goal to reduce it. Buddhists also widely accept surrogacy as they believe it can be a compassionate option for their facing infertility. The last slide is my reflection. What I found most interesting while studying these religions is how they all value family and having children, but they approach IVF and surrogacy in different ways. For example, both Islam and Mormonism are more strict about keeping reproduction within marriage, while Hinduism and Judaism are generally more flexible with IVF, which shows that Islam and Mormonism hold closer connections and ties to the beliefs of Christianity, which I was more aware of before the presentation. I also noticed that many religions are concerned with ethics, like protecting life, maintaining family structure, and avoiding harm. Personally, I think it's interesting how modern technology like IVF challenges traditional beliefs and different religions adapt to it in their own way. This project helped me understand how religion can shape people's views on real-life issues like fertility and family. Thank you.